cooking is desserts made without sugar, white refined sugar, desserts made without dairy, and basically without fat too. A little bit of tahini in one of the Rice Krispies, but so it's a pretty clean and simple dessert day. There are so many different cake recipes and cookie recipes that are really easily converted to a more natural or more healthier ingredients. I would recommend a couple of things. If you find a recipe that you'd like to change, instead of using white flour, which is just like glue, right? It just causes stuckness in the intestines and everything, switch more to a whole wheat flour, or if you'd like a lighter texture still, I like spelt flour. It's spelled S-P-E-L-T. Spelt flour really makes just a really nice light muffin or cookie or cake or whatever you're preparing. For a sweetener, I use brown rice syrup. We're going to be using it today. This is a really great sweetener. Of course, again, it's made from brown rice. And in comparing this to white sugar, it's apples and oranges. Brown rice syrup goes into the body, and it's just more of a gentle sweetness. White sugar comes in and just bam, you have this blood sugar up, and then you have this blood sugar crash, within the hour. And so brown rice syrup is a complex carbohydrate, so it's going to go into the blood system slower, and it's going to be more of an even energy. The other downfall of white sugar, and if you'd like more information, I really love this book. It's called Sugar Blues by William Dufty. White sugar depletes the body of B vitamins. They've even linked it to osteoporosis because it causes such an acidic blood condition that your blood always needs to stay alkaline to stay healthy. So, and we have alkaline blood from minerals. So if you get acidic blood, your body is going to draw the minerals from someplace, and it often draws it from the bones. So we know that white sugar can cause acidic blood. So because of the blood sugar up and down, the taking away of B vitamins, and the possible link to osteoporosis, I just stay away from white sugar completely. And with brown rice syrup or maple syrup occasionally, it's really easy to substitute. One thing about dried baked foods like cakes or cookies or muffins is that the energy of the food itself, when you bake something in the oven, it just goes. It's just very tightening and very contracting. And so if someone's having problems with elimination, or just they find themselves too tense a lot of times, you might want to lay off of the baked flour products for a while, and then that'll allow things to kind of move through your body. Along the same line, I'll just mention quickly, if you want to get away from the milk, there's rice milk, there's soy milk, there's almond milk, again in the health food store. I'm going to make 3 desserts today. Very versatile things. The first one is going to be called a canton, K-A-N-T-E-N. This is like a Jell-O, except the gelling factor is agar-agar. This is a sea vegetable, believe it or not. When you go into the dentist and he makes a shape of your tooth or something, that squishy stuff that you bite into, it's made from agar-agar, and this is a sea vegetable. So there are some minerals in it. Again, minerals, remember, alkalinize the blood. So you're making a dessert that has nutrition in it. So that's pretty cool. This is a very versatile dessert. What I'm using today is some organic berry juice. I'm probably mentioning this over and over on my shows, but I'm really into organic vegetables and organic fruits because commercially grown fruits and vegetables are sprayed with pesticides and fertilizers and just chemicals that we have no idea how they're affecting the human body. Organic fruits and vegetables and grains are much higher in minerals, and they don't have all those chemicals, so we don't have to deal with it. So this is an organic berry juice, and all I'm going to do is I'm using a quart, pour it into my pan. I'm using a pinch of sea salt. Sea salt instead of regular, Morton's or whatever those other salts are, because this is actually how the salt is found in nature, and it's kind of clumpy. That's how salt naturally is. So find a good quality one. Again, I like the brands Lima, Lima, or Muramoto, or a real easy one to remember is SI. SI salt is a real good quality salt. We are, our bodies need salt, and so get a good quality one and just use a tiny pinch. And this is really easy. So all I'm going to do is use the agar-agar always comes in this size of a package. So to 1 quart of juice, I just use half a package. I only have half left here because I already made mine before the show because it takes a little while to set. So that's all we need is a half a package of that. And all we do is stir it in and put it on the stove. And this just has to come up to a light boil, a light simmer for 10 minutes until all of the little flakes dissolve. And just make sure you don't put a lid on it because it'll just go all over your stove. Okay, I think that's all I need right here. Oh, the last thing I'm going to add while we're here is a couple teaspoons of rice syrup just to sweeten it up. You might not need this, depending on your taste buds. Everyone's taste buds are different. So some people like it sweeter, some people don't. And it's also going to depend on what sort of fruits you use. I'm using berries today. We've got blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. So they're a little bit sour, a little bit tart. So you might want to use a little bit of rice syrup. But if I was using, pears and peaches and apples, they're a little bit sweeter. Or if I was using dried fruit, like if I was throwing in some raisins in here or whatever dried fruit, I probably wouldn't have to add any rice syrup because it would be sweet enough. So I'm just going to put this on the flame and get it cooking, and be right back. And we're going to get into our next dessert here. This one is done kind of similar to how we're starting that one, but I'm doing a poached pears in lemon sauce. So again, you might notice I still have my berries here, and that's because these were frozen. I didn't have any fresh ones available. But so the frozen or the fresh, you add after those flakes are already disappeared. So as soon as those are done, I'm just going to toss these in, shut it off, and put it in my form to set. So we can just kind of set these aside. So the second dessert we're going to do is a poached pears and lemon sauce. This is a real quick one. So if you have some guests coming over and you want to make a little fancy something, this is a real quick one. I want to say too about fruit. After you've eaten your heavy, kind of a heavy meal, if you're making a fruit dessert, then it's best to give yourself some time to digest. Because when you have grains or meat or fish or whatever you've eaten, beans, digesting, it takes a longer time to digest than fruit does. So if I would, after I ate my meal, just right away eat fruit, I might have some uncomfortableness in my tummy because the fruit just goes straight through. And so it might be kind of held up by the other food. So I usually like to, clean my kitchen and ideally go and take a walk or something and then come back and have dessert. But if you can't do that, then at least give yourself 10, 15 minutes, something like that. And it's going to be different with cooked fruit. This is easier to digest than raw fruit. So I would really never recommend having like a big raw fruit salad dessert. It's just really too hard to digest following other food. So here's our apple juice. Again, I just have an organic apple juice. I'm not measuring here, but you'll see the measurements later. It's basically a couple of cups. This ends up being really sweet, so you can make as much of this as you want. Again, a tiny little pinch of salt. And I already cored my pears. All I did was, these are really green pears. Again, we just don't have very ripe ones this time of year available, but I wanted to show this dessert. So just drop your little pears in here, and of course, if you're making this for more people, you just put more of them in. And Then I have a little bit of lemon. All I have is the juice of 1 lemon. I just juiced half of it just to kind of save some time here. I'll juice my other half. This really gives a nice little pizzazz, little pang or whatever to your dessert. Take those off. This is a nice handy little thing. You might have seen me use this before with vegetables. Whenever I'm cooking vegetables, it's really great to take them out of the water. And I just got this at an Oriental shop. It's really wonderful. I love to use it. And then the other thing is to use this again is an organic lemon. The organic peel on any fruit or vegetable, the organic skin nourishes our skin. So I try to use it as much as I can. All I'm going to do, is get a little of the zest. Off here. Oops. Oh, that's all right. I want to save that one. I'm going to use the one that I just used. It'll preserve longer if I keep it intact in the fridge instead of taking the peel off of that one that I'm not using anyway. I wouldn't recommend doing this with non-organic lemons or oranges. The peel on the orange is phenomenal. In cookies, phenomenal. So you might want to try that sometime too. You can either take this off with a spoon, or this is a vegetable scrub brush. This is what a natural bristle scrub brush. This is what I like to use for my vegetables. So I can just take it off gently like that. And might as well, this is dessert, so I'm going to add a little bit of rice syrup here. Make it as sweet as I can. That was probably 2 tablespoons. I think it's just human being to crave sweetness and to like sweetness. But if I have found that if people eat a salty diet, like salty meats or salty cheeses, then they're going to tend to either crave sweets or crave alcohol or crave some sort of, salts are like this, contracting, right? And sweets and alcohol is more expansive. You know, you kind of get more loose when you eat those things. So if you find that you're just having a real sweet tooth, it might be that you're eating a little bit too much salt. So you might want to take a look at that in your diet. There could be other reasons too, but just to make it simple. So now I'm going to put this one on the stove, and I'll be right back. And I think we're actually ready now to, I'm just going to talk about our last one that we're going to make here, but that one's actually going to be made on the stove. All we're going to do, this is a simple dessert. These are Rice Krispie treats. This again is just regular Rice Krispies, but these are organic, again, so the rice is not sprayed, from the health food store. And the recipe is right on the back, so that makes it really easy. What I do different, the only thing I do differently on this recipe is I'm not going to use peanut butter. You might want to check into peanut butter for yourself. Some people have an allergy or a sensitivity to it because I guess they found that peanuts can actually be kind of moldy. I don't know. Someone just told me that. So, you know, see how you feel. Whenever you're eating anything, try to stay in touch with your body because you might have a food allergy or sensitivity to something that you've just eaten. And if you did, or if you do, then you can just stop eating it for a little while and it kind of works its way out of the body. So I don't use peanut butter all that often. What I'm using instead is tahini. This is sesame, made from sesame seeds, and tahini is very high in calcium. So I use it a lot in my cooking. And I really like, while I'm pointing it out, this one with the blue lid, it's one of my favorites. I love the taste of it. It's not bitter. It pours really easily. You'll see while we're doing it at the stove. This is a great one.